Knull stood over the defeated Silver Surfer, his sadistic grin unwavering as he pressed his foot down onto the surfer's chest. The pressure was unbearable, like the crushing weight of a 16-wheeler truck, leaving the surfer immobilized. Despite his cosmic power, he couldn't muster the strength to move under the immense force. Around the crater, hundreds of symbiotes began to gather, encircling the scene like an audience awaiting the climax of a macabre performance. Their twisted forms shifted and writhed, their malicious smiles reflecting their master's cruelty. It was as though they knew something monumental was about to occur. But what was Knull waiting for? Knull turned his gaze toward his creations, his voice dripping with dark amusement. "What do you say, my children? Do we have room for one more?" The symbiotes erupted into eerie, unified laughter, their chorus echoing across the battlefield. Their malicious glee filled the air, a sinister acknowledgement of their master's will. Knull's intent was clear. He wasn't here just to defeat the Silver Surfer. He was here to corrupt him, to make him a part of the hive, bound forever to the abyss. As the Silver Surfer lay pinned beneath Knull's crushing foot, he began to feel the suffocating presence of the symbiote armor creeping onto his own body. Tendrils of darkness slithered from Knull's foot, engulfing him inch by inch. Struggling against it with every ounce of his will, the surfer heard Knull's voice, calm yet filled with malice. "Don't fight it. You are going to lead us straight to Galactus." Within moments, the transformation began. The surfer's silver sheen darkened, twisting into a new, nightmarish form. His body mutated, reshaped by the abyss, becoming a hybrid of cosmic power and Knull's eldritch corruption. In mere seconds, the Silver Surfer had become the Void Knight, a distinct proto-symbiote, Knull's strongest creation to date. The Void Knight radiated an ominous energy, its very presence a herald of darkness. The Void Knight rose to his feet, towering over the crater, his voice deep and resonant as he said, "We are ready. We know where he is." Knull's grin widened. "Good," he replied. "But before we go, I need you to do what you were created to do, one last time." The symbiotes around them hissed and laughed in anticipation, eager to witness the Void Knight's first act of destruction. Knull's plan to extinguish the light of the universe was only beginning, and with the Void Knight as his weapon, he was now closer than ever to bringing it to fruition. The Void Knight scouted the cosmos and identified a planet ripe for Galactus to consume, sending out the call to draw the World Devourer to its surface. Knull, along with his legion of 100,000 symbiotes, awaited Galactus's arrival, their forms shifting and writhing with anticipation. Galactus, knowing full well this was an ambush, descended anyway, driven by curiosity to confront Knull, the being who had stolen his herald, the Silver Surfer. As Galactus landed, he shrank to a more manageable size, standing on the planet's surface. His immense presence still loomed over the gathering, his cosmic energy a palpable force. He stood face to face with Knull, surrounded by the symbiotic tide, and the air grew heavy with silence. For 10 long seconds, the two godlike beings simply stared at one another, sizing each other up in an unspoken battle of wills. Finally, Galactus broke the silence. "I'm impressed," he said, his voice resonating across the battlefield. To Knull, however, the words rang as an insult. His expression darkened, and with a simple, almost imperceptible gesture, he silently signaled the Void Knight to attack. The atmosphere grew electric as the Void Knight surged forward, his form a blur of black and silver, his power a fusion of Knull's dark abyss and the remnants of the Surfer's cosmic light. The symbiotes surrounding them hissed and cheered as the battle they had long awaited was about to begin. The Void Knight unleashed a potent blast of cosmic energy, dark and radiant, aimed directly at Galactus. When the blast struck, it surged with incredible intensity, yet Galactus absorbed it effortlessly into his vast reservoir of power. This only fueled irritation. With a low growl of frustration, the Void Knight unleashed another attack, raining a barrage of devastating strikes upon Galactus. though each impact was met by Galactus's protective force field. The sheer power of the Void Knight's blows shook the planet to its core, demonstrating the raw strength Knull had imbued in his creation. As the Void Knight and Galactus clashed, the tension between Knull and Galactus grew unbearable. The two cosmic beings locked eyes, unspoken promises of destruction exchanged in their unrelenting gaze. Galactus loomed with cosmic grandeur while Knull exuded the eerie calm of the abyss. Both knew the true fight was between them. Knull, his patience worn thin, closed the distance with swift precision, stepping directly into Galactus's presence until they were face to face. The Void Knight, sensing a sudden surge of overwhelming power behind him, wisely retreated from his position. Knull's advance had been so forceful that if the Void Knight hadn't moved, he would have been struck aside like an afterthought. The air between Knull and Galactus was charged with volatile energy, the ground trembling beneath their feet. The confrontation of these two titans promised devastation unlike any the universe had ever witnessed. The Void Knight, now on the sidelines, stood ready to assist, his cosmic form glowing with anticipation as the battle between Creator and Destroyer began in earnest. As Knull and Galactus locked eyes, the tension between them reached a breaking point. Without warning, Knull leaped from the planet's surface, propelling himself into the outer atmosphere in an instant. From the cold void of space, his voice echoed ominously. "I know you're out here." In a fraction of a second, Knull hurled his necrosword with terrifying speed and precision. The blade streaked across the cosmos, piercing Galactus's force field down on the planet as if it were paper. The sword ripped into Galactus's body, creating deep fissures of raw cosmic power. Galactus recoiled but did not fall. Instead, he shifted energy, his immense form shimmering as his true self decloaked in the vastness of space. His colossal planet-devouring figure loomed over Knull, radiating unimaginable power. "You can't trick me," Knull growled. "I offer you this planet to consume so you can survive a bit longer, and when you're done, I will destroy you. You'll see, you're nothing but a stepping stone for me to plunge this universe into eternal darkness." Galactus smiled, an eerie display of both amusement and defiance. Without a word, he began to devour the planet beneath them, his immense mouth tearing it apart. The Void Knight and the symbiotes below scattered as their battleground was reduced to nothingness and joined Knull in space. The planet's energy flowed into Galactus, fueling him to a fully charged state. His form now glowed with blinding energy, the sheer intensity of his power shaking the fabric of the universe itself. As Galactus reached his apex of power, Knull stood unwavering, the void swirling around him. The two Omega-level beings prepared for a cataclysmic clash, their powers poised to unleash devastation on a scale the universe had never seen. The stars dimmed, the cosmic winds stilled, and the very fabric of reality seemed to hold its breath for what was to come. Share, like, comment, and subscribe for part 3.